When we think of the Chinese weightlifting system, we tend to think of the structure of their training. That's lifting twice a day, squatting twice a week, daily pulls, heavy deadlifts, lots of volume in bodybuilding-esque accessories, essentially targeting all weaknesses while maintaining strengths. Lean, muscular, healthy athletes. But the truth of it is that often these athletes aren't so much flourishing within this system as they are barely surviving. Despite Shi Zhiyong setting world records in his last two competitions, most recently a new total world record in Tokyo, and just 3 months prior a new world record in the Snatch, 169 kilos at the Asian Championships, Shi Zhiyong has barely been holding his head above the surface, battling injuries, dizziness, missing lifts that even his 61 kilo teammate Li Fabin would never miss, let alone the unbeaten 73 kilo Shi Zhiyong. 12 international meets, 12 gold medals. Initially, Shi Zhiyong injured his back in May 2014, and he was unable to train until December, 8 months later. Months of being unable to perform basic tasks like tying his shoes or brushing his teeth pushed him to the brink of quitting the sport. Now, considering that the sport in many ways saved him, as he's mentioned in previous interviews with the Squat Judge journalist, this traumatic idea of his injury retiring him from the sport led him to cry daily during this difficult time. His coach even described it as him being in absolute despair. But still, you wouldn't know any of this, because less than a year later, and Shi Zhiyong won the 2015 IWF World Championships, his first ever world champs. And then a year after that, he was the Olympic champion. Now, prior to the 2021 Asian Championships, Shi Zhiyong was lightheaded, missing light lifts in the training hall, barely able to re-rack front squats, complaining persistently of a lack of oxygen as he warmed up for competition. And you can even see this in this very video that he just isn't feeling great. Now, after most of his lifts as he warmed up for the competition just a few days after this video, he would lean over to rest. He'd place his hands on his knees, just gasping for air. In fact, his warm-up was made up of his standard bar to 60 kilo jump, to 90 kilos, to 120, but then his second 120 kilo attempt, he missed. And even so, he went up to 140 kilos, but again, he missed. He then tried 140 kilos for a second time, missing again. Next, he went up to 150 kilos, but again he missed, kneeling down afterwards, head down to the ground, breathing deeply. Minutes later, he tried again, and again he missed. So at this point, he had missed lifts at 120, 140, and 150. Now, some of you will probably say that Shi didn't miss those lifts, he just let them go, but this is not true. Shi has himself confirmed these misses. I've also seen him in person miss 130 kilos and then go out and power snatch 150 kilos. But regardless of these misses in the back room, just like in 2015 at the World Championships, you wouldn't know that he was injured or struggling. Having missed 150 twice, he opened up with and made 160 kilos, jumping to 164 in his second attempt, and then 169 kilos for a new world record on his third. Jump forward a few months then to the Olympics, and again Shi Zhiyong was in deep trouble. He'd been unable to lift 190 kilos in training in the build-up to this competition, that's 16 kilos below his best. And a shout out to the Squat Judge journalist again for his journalism here, I got a lot of this information from him. But on the 23rd of June, 5 weeks before competing at his second Olympic Games, Shi Zhiyong pulled his hamstring. So with 35 days until Tokyo, Shi took the next 18 days off training completely. But still, you wouldn't know it. as he still opened up after everybody else, ending up with 166 kilos in the snatch, 10 kilos more than the second place lifter. And then there was more difficulty in the clean and jerk because a lot of his competitors suddenly moved up to 190 kilos, forcing Shi Zhiyong out earlier than expected for his 188 kilo opener, having only just hit 160 kilos in the back room. And he would usually get another attempt beforehand in between those two lifts. He also hadn't been able to lift anything more than 180 kilos prior to this competition, only hitting 160 kilos twice. But still, he came out and he made the lift, eventually moving up to and equaling his world record of 198 kilos on his clean and jerk, also setting a new world record in the total. Having defeated all others, and in many ways having defeated himself, in order to win his second Olympic medal, he yelled, "Is there no one else?" You would never know that Shi Zhiyong had undergone an awful 6 months of training. He never let it show on the platform, he never indulged in it, and he never used it to explain a poor outcome. He continued on with his legacy, and that's why he stands today, still, as the only undefeated weightlifter in the world. Not Liu Xiaojun, not Deng Wei, not Li Wenwen, not even Lasha Talakadze can say that. Regardless of what comes his way, Shi Zhiyong will not be defeated. That's 12 competitions, 12 wins. There's more Chinese training of Li Wenwen and Deng Wei up on the Weightlifting House Patreon. Link in description.